Welcome. I'm Jim Heaney, the author of Choosing Presence. These are some of the insights into practicing presence in a contemplative way, which I've been practicing and teaching for over 20 years. I've been in jail ministry teaching presence, giving classes in my home, giving talks, interviews in the media, Zoom classes, and I've been involved in the CAC since 1997. I was there when our movement started and remain committed to it through Illumin. I believe all of us are looking for the same thing. We want to experience the presence of God's spiritual being in this moment in our everyday practical life that He clearly told us we all have access to. Be still and know that I am God. Brian Mueller, Jim Taylor, and myself are going to be your pointers over the next 8 weeks. Let's get started. First of all, use the app 1 week before answering the questions in Chapter 1 so you experience the benefits of the practice. Ultimately, it is the practices that teach us as we become still. Read each chapter twice before answering the questions. Things will pop up the second time that you may have missed. Journaling the questions is very important. It allows you to clearly identify your spiritual progress. And as you grow in presence, your journaling answers will change because your inner confidence has changed. As you do your morning practice, focus on your breath and be careful not to breathe and think at the same time. This will only frustrate you. Breathe slowly and deeply as the app tells you, focusing on your breath. You cannot focus on your breath and think at the same time. The intention is always the same, to connect with God's spiritual energy. Or say, Father, I put my trust in you. Or, Jesus, I put my trust in you. If you're having difficulty focusing, breathe deeper. This will allow you to concentrate more easily on your breath. It's very important to work up to 20 minutes in your morning practice. That is when you get the most benefit. If you haven't done meditation before, start at 10 minutes and increase that 1 minute a day until you work up to 20 minutes. This becomes our foundation. We know what we're looking for then and throughout the day. We won't settle for self-created inner negativity through compulsive and repetitive thinking, which is useless and anxiety-producing. The app tells us how to do it, why we do it, and the spiritual benefits of doing it. The hourly reminder is a powerful practice because it inner conditions us spiritually. It reminds us to stay close to the present moment where we are the most confident, secure, and stable. Because we have slowed down all the inner dialogue to the point where it cannot penetrate our presence. As soon as you hear the ping of the hourly reminder, start focusing on the 3 breaths with intention. You don't have to open the app, just breathe. It interferes with nothing and enhances everything. It renews us throughout the day. And every time we bring in stillness, it is a new beginning. Because God forgives each of us if we ask Him in presence. As St. James told us, if we pray to God in 2 minds, don't expect anything from God. Without doing the practices consistently, there'll be no real change. The practices become easier and easier because there is an inner response of calm and peace at some level as we become still. And that is accessible to each of us throughout the day. As soon as you feel unease or anxiety, immediately bring in stillness, no matter where you are or what you are doing. Take as many breaths as necessary. Because when you are consciously breathing, you're not creating inner negative dialogue. Doing this consistently is what inner conditions us spiritually and gives us the inner confidence to put our trust in God in this moment. We should never ask ourselves if presence is important in our life when we are in an unconscious state, because we are out of reality. Our negative ego, our false self, will always resist the present moment because it cannot control us in the present moment. When we ask ourselves the same question, when we are consciously present and experiencing the calm, peace, and sense of union through stillness, the answer is absolutely yes. And we realize it is the most important thing in our life. As I've told people, I practice presence as though my life depended on it, because my spiritual life does depend on the peace and power of the present moment, which means my practical daily life also depends on it. As we grow in presence, we can clearly see that our insecure and fear-filled ego cannot withstand our presence, only our absence. If we choose not to practice presence, what is our alternative? Unfortunately, we will remain in an unconscious state far too often, self-creating inner conflicts and feeling overwhelmed with compulsive, repetitive thinking and unease, which blocks the power of God's transformative spirit. As we grow in presence, my experience is that anxiety, worry, stress, resentments, judging, comparing ourselves to others, lack of self-esteem are reduced by 90% because our inner negative dialogue has been reduced by 90%. Meaning they may be there at some level, but they stop taking us over, which allows an inner freedom and confidence I never thought was possible. By inner conditioning ourselves spiritually, our body lets us know when we're getting too far from the calm, peace, and sense of union that is always accessible to each of us in the present moment, as we bring in stillness with the intention of putting our trust in God in this moment. It's not what we do, it's what's being done to us through stillness. Thank you.